Alright guys, if you haven't already heard, earlier today the Montreal Canadiens made some roster changes and I'm a big fan of it. They sent down Rem Pitlick to the Laval Rockets, which is a little unfortunate, but they brought up Anthony Richard, who has been killing it in the AHL, and I'm a big fan of the move, and let me tell you why. Now, just quickly before I get into these reasons, I'm currently trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before Christmas. We got just about a week left. So if you are new to the channel and you do love Habs content, Habs news, Habs updates, all of that good stuff, then I invite you to subscribe. I'd love to have you along for the ride. Anyways, without wasting any more of your time, let's get into the video. So, like I just mentioned, the Montreal Canadiens sent down forward Rem Pitlick to the AHL, the Laval Rockets, which is unfortunate for him. He's getting tossed around like the cheerleader at a football practice. It's unfortunate for him. I really do like him. He hasn't found his game this year, but I don't think him going up and down is helping him at all. But the good news out of this is that they called up forward Anthony Richard, who has been tearing up the AHL. He currently leads all players in the AHL in goals with 18 goals. The whole league, he leads them. That is insane. And he's tied for third in the league with points. He's been getting a lot of Habs fans' interest for the past couple of weeks, and it's about time that they called him up. But what's significant about this is that we have a logjam of forwards, and we can't even figure out who we're going to start half the time. But they still called him up, and that is a step in the right direction, because valuing players that kind of deserve the chances is what I really like to see. They didn't just make this transaction because we got injuries or missing some depth and all of that, which is usually what we end up seeing when we see a transaction between Laval and Montreal. But this time is completely different, and it's because a player deserves the call-up. We still have too many forwards. We're literally sitting Pozzetta one night, Dadonov the other night. There's too many forwards, like I said. But this guy has been tearing up the AHL so badly that they finally opened their eyes and said, you know what, let's give this guy a real shot in the NHL. Now, don't expect this guy to come in and be the next Maurice Richard just because his last name is Richard, but I am very curious to see how he does. I think he's going to be playing on the fourth line, which isn't probably any better than his actual line down in the AHL. It's probably a lot worse, honestly, but it'll still be interesting to see what he does. I remember watching him during the Habs development camp this year. I wasn't really sure who he was, but to my surprise, he was playing very well, better than a lot of the players on the ice. He was probably a top 5 player in that development camp, and I never knew who this guy was before that. He put up a couple goals in like the red versus white game where I went to see. He was doing well during the preseason games, always very noticeable. So I'm glad to see that he got a call up, and he's getting a chance to prove himself in the big league. Now, like I mentioned before, this is a step in the right direction. I like the mentality of giving players who deserve a shot into the lineup. I know it's not always possible with how it's been these days because you have stinky forwards like Dadonov, Hoffman, Drouin. I mean, Drouin's been okay lately, but those forwards are logging up the forward roster and they're trying to give them as much ice time as possible so you could flip them. So it's hard to give everyone a fair chance, but they still managed to do this with Anthony Richard, which I'm a big fan of. Now, I hope the next player they do this with is Jesse Ylönen. I think I said his name properly. I thought it was Ylönen for the longest time, but I think it's Jesse Ylönen. Anyways, I would love to see this guy get called up. He's very good. He's one of our better prospects. He's been in the AHL for a while. He's been kind of marinating down there for a long time, and I think he's absolutely done with the AHL. I don't think he has anything else to prove down there. And I think it's his time to get called up soon. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today's short little video. Don't be afraid to let me know down in the comments what your opinion is on this move. Do you think he's going to be very good? Do you think he's just going to be a fourth line guy? That's what I'm kind of imagining. I kind of hope he stays for a while. But yeah, let me know your opinion down in the comments. And yeah, with that being said, that's going to be all for today. So if you did enjoy it, don't be afraid to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care.